Okay, the distributive property with integer coefficients. So this is basically just getting rid of parentheses, and to do that you take the number outside and you multiply it by everything inside, just one thing at a time. So on this one, -8 times -2, well, in that case the two negatives cancel, because if you have two negatives they cancel each other out when you're multiplying. So it's going to be a positive answer. 8 times 2 is 16, and then you've got an x there. Now you go to this one, a negative times a negative is a positive because the two negatives cancel each other out. So it's going to be positive. 8 times 3 is 24, and you have a u there. And then you go to the next one. Now on this next one we have a negative with the 8, but there is no negative with that 3 to cancel it out. So it's going to stay negative. And then 8 times 3 is 24. So that's the answer to that. It's just getting rid of the parentheses. Now on this next one, if there's nothing in front of parentheses, it's assumed to be a 1. So I'm going to make that a -1 that I'm distributing. So let's do that. A negative times a negative, they cancel each other out. So it's a positive. 1 times 2 is 2u, a positive 2u. The next one, a negative and a negative, they cancel each other out. So that's going to be a positive answer. 1 times 4 is 4. And you have your v, and then on the next one, a negative times a positive is a negative. 1 times 3 is 3. Now that I've shown you that one, let me show you a little trick. If you have just a negative, no numbers in front of the parentheses, just a negative in front of the parentheses, no numbers. A short way of doing that is change all the signs inside. So this one has a negative with no number there with that negative. So just change everything inside. A negative 4v changes to a positive 4v. A negative 2w changes to a positive 2w. And a positive 5 changes to a negative 5. Okay? That's only if you don't have a number in front. Now let me show you why that works. If we made it a -1, watch. Negative times a negative is positive. 1 times 4v is 4v. Negative times a negative is a positive. 1 times 2 is 2w. Negative times a positive is a negative. 1 times 5 is 5. You get the same thing. But you can only use that trick whenever there's just a negative in front of the parentheses with no number. If there's a number, you do have to go ahead and multiply it.